Welcome back to the workshop, and carrying on now with the big project that I have on hand. And this week I'm going to be cutting all of the rails down to length. There are a lot of them, and so I want to make sure that the rails are the correct length so that I can get the tenons cut correctly. It's no good cutting the tenons to fit if the whole length of the piece is either too long, too short. So what I'm going to be doing is using the table saw, and this is one reason why I wanted to make sure that the vacuum system was functioning as effectively as I could get it. I needed to cut out any of the shortcuts for the airflow so that most of the airflow would go through the ducting that I need. So that's where we are. Let's get set up. Now the first thing I want to do is make sure that the mitre guide is at the right angle, as in square to the blade, because I'm going to be using this to push everything through. I want everything square. So make sure that that's against the blade. That I know will now be 90 degrees. Never trust that scale. And that's good. Make sure that that's got a little bit of clearance. There we go. Right, that's all set up. Next thing is just make sure that the height of the cut is correct. So the most I will be cutting is 46mm. So just make sure the teeth are high enough, and if you get a chance, I'll put a link to this in the description below, but if you do get a chance, have a look at Stumpy Nub's video this week about the saw stop table saws and the discussion that he finishes with at the end of his video about blade guards and the riving knife, because that was where I almost came unstuck. And one thing I will be doing is making sure that I have this guard in place. Now I will eventually end up using the fence here, so because I'm going to have quite a few repeatable cuts in a little while, but just to start with, I'm going to be just lining up the cut line here with the side of the blade tips, and this is just going to be the first few pieces of timber. I'm just cutting these to length just by eye. That's the first cut gone nicely, and that's a really nice edge to that piece. Okay, let's carry on. Now, preparatory to bulk or batch cutting where I want the fence, the fence will, the maximum the fence will come is to the end of this extension table here. Now these are 740 millimeters long, so much too long for that, so I thought I'd just try cutting 4 of the uprights together. And so that's at this end. I've aligned all of the bottom cuts and see how this goes. Pleased with that. So the same thing here, just make sure everything is aligned to this bottom cut line. There we are. So that cut line is aligned. Line it up with the cutter. Right, I'm now going to have to move these cut pieces of timber, because otherwise I'm just going to keep knocking them over. Now, I had thought I'd done all of the single pieces, but I haven't. I've got these to do yet before I try to use the fence for other repeatable cuts. So let's carry on. Right, before I go any further, I was just going through the stack of timber on the bench for cutting, and I'm getting myself in a pickle with regard to what pieces I need. So that's my original cutting list. I'm just going to go through the stuff that I've already cut to length, make a separate note of what pieces I have, then I can compare that with what I need for that and what's on the bench now, because otherwise, and I've got a nasty feeling I'm going to have to mill some more timber. I just want to make sure before I do anything else. Right, I'm wading my way through the stock slowly, and over there are the pieces that I know I've done. They are the correct size and everything has been worked on them. Here is timber that I still have to cut to length, but I have them earmarked. Okay. But just going through the cutting list, already processed are the 4 styles for the doors on the left hand cupboard. Now, going through the stock on the bench, I've also got the stock for the right hand doors, but I realise only one of them has had the mortises cut, so that's a surprise. I thought I'd done all of that. Okay, but anyway, and I do need to trim them slightly to length, so what I'm going to do is cross them off the master list, and then on the subsidiary list I'm just going to write doors style length plus mortise, so I know what I need to do. So those can go there for cutting the mortises. That one can go there for that's already cut to length. Okay, after thorough investigation, I've not done bad. I've managed. This is the pile that just needs to be cut to length, and that's fine. I can do that. But from the original cutting list, I need 3 new lengths. At the middle of both cupboards, I'm going to have an upright. That's so that the doors will have something to close onto and give the shelf a little bit of support in the middle. I need, for the 2 cupboards, I need an upright in the front for both cupboards, and I need the rear middle upright for one of the cupboards. So I need 3 pieces of timber that I've got to mill and then cut to length. So what I'm going to do this afternoon, just finish cutting all these to length, then I can just sort out a couple of pieces of timber to mill, and then we should be good to go for cutting the mortises. I've got a couple of pieces that I just need to cut to long length, and then I can set up the fence for cutting the shorter pieces. So that's the plan. Let's carry on. Okay, so I've got 4 pieces at 415mm. So this was my idea. set up the fence. At 415 mil. Put the piece against there and cut like that. So that will give me a repeatable length. So the first thing is 415 mil. And what I'm going to do is just make sure on a scrap piece of wood that that is giving me 415. So, length of scrap wood. That one will do. Now, what I'll do is mark it. That's that. Square off. Now, check against the blade, and I'm glad I did, because that's going straight down the middle and I don't want that. Right, let's try that. Bang on 415. Okay, so this will be a case of just taking that against there, straight down, and then I can do it for all four of those. Identically length pieces. Next, 307.5. I know that's a funny size, but that's what the plan calls for. 307.5. Okay. That's fine. Right. Scrap piece out of the way. There we go. So, all of those are all present and correct. Right, well, I must say the vacuum is behaving itself admirably today. There's hardly any dust got out of the machine. Most of it has ended up in the bag, and for that I'm very grateful. So everything that I can do I have done by way of cutting things to length. As I said, I've just got to sort out now a little bit of the remilling I have to do so that I can get these last three pieces cut. So let's have a look. Right, I've got two pieces of hewn timber, and I can get what I need now out of these two. So it's a bit of a pain, but I'll come back to this at a later date, but it does remind me that I need to be a little more diligent when it comes to knowing exactly what stock I need and what I've actually processed. But hopefully I'll remember, and we can cover that in a later episode. But anyway, that's as far as I'm going for today. I've got most of the stock cut to length. I've got most of it processed by way of mortise cutting. As I say earlier, I've got three pieces that I still need to cut the mortises with. And I've even got the loose pieces for the side panel middle rail. Now that's going to provide the end support for the shelf. And so all I've done is cut them to length, and then on the bandsaw I cut them down the middle. And I don't, because that's going to be hidden, I don't need to finish that. I can leave that as sawn. So that's that. I will next time get these processed by way of milling. That shouldn't take too long with it just being these two pieces. But anyway, thanks ever so much for coming along with me today, and welcome to all of the new subscribers. We're up to 250 on the channel now, and I'm very grateful for the support you're giving me. Certainly want to say thank you for Gary over in Arizona, Tucson I think it is, and lovely correspondent, and I'm very grateful, Gary, for the support that you're giving me. In fact, I want to say thank you for all of the support that everyone's giving me, and where would we be without that? So as I say, thanks for coming along with me, and I'll see you next time.